What's going on, y'all? Corpus Christi Originals back at it again, coming to you live from the Produce Sound Studios, downtown Corpus Christi, Texas. Real quick, want to give shout out to our sponsor, Vago Burger and BBQ, located 4701 Barrera, 78416. Have y'all tried that? Well, you guys are vegan, no?
Yeah.
We are vegan.
Well, check them out anyways, guys. We got McNabb Microfarm with us today. What's going on, Lauren and Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Doing good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So the art, you know where the art walk was, and I told you where it was. You're like, oh yeah, I know where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's cool. So, can you tell? What was the first question? Introduce yourselves. Tell us a bit about your family and the journey of starting McNabb Microfarm.
So I'm Lauren McNabb.
I'm Ryan.
We are husband and wife.
Yes.
We do get that question sometimes. And we do have a 7-year-old son. And yeah, this is Ryan's business, so I'll let him take it away.
Yeah, started right after the pandemic, 2020. Wanted to start off doing a little bit of gardening, but, I was also out of a job at the moment, so wanted to bring income in, so I needed to find something. We really wanted to get into gardening, start doing something more sustainable, and just return on investment wasn't going to be there. How long it takes to grow vegetables to their full grown part, and waiting on a tomato to grow just to see a squirrel take it.
Which did happen a few
story.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we a buddy of mine knew someone that was growing microgreens
Before the pandemic.
yeah, before the pandemic, and at a small scale, and we started looking into it. I took a course on it, so invested in some money to actually learn it the proper way instead of just kind of Googling everything. And took that course's advice, and bought all the materials and got it going in our backyard.
Wow.
Yeah, we were really lucky. We had just bought our house a few months before that. And like you said, we knew we wanted to start a garden because, like everyone knows, during the pandemic, it was just hard to get certain stuff. A lot of stuff shut down. And so that's, why you mentioned the gardening. We wanted to be able to feed ourselves. And we thought about doing the farmers markets. And then, like he said, it's a long time, and we didn't, he really needed an income. But when we did start to look into microgreens, we were honestly mind blown. And a lot of people probably haven't even heard of microgreens, but the ones that have, you hear these amazing things about them being a superfood, and they're so much healthier for you. And we were just kind of looking into not just growing them, but the benefits of them.
Yes.
And us already eating a plant-based diet, we were just blown away.
Nice.
And we got really excited about that and wanting to share that with people. And then, yeah, like you said, learning to grow them the right way. And we were really lucky that our house already had like a separate shed in the back that was nice and enclosed. We had a separate space where we were able to grow. So we were really just grateful that all kind of worked out.
Cool. It's awesome. If you guys can see on the video right here, check out these microgreens. They blessed me with some of them, y'all. You guys got to try them out. Check them out. So where y'all primarily sell these at? So I think the art walk, or not the art walk, the art center, right?
Yeah, Grow Local Farmers Market every Wednesday night at the Art Center, 5 to 8 p.m. We're also out of Borai Craft Butchery. Nate does carry some of our greens that you can purchase anytime during their store hours. And we also offer home delivery. A lot of people don't know that. So you can pre-order for delivery or pick up at the market.
Yeah.
We deliver all the way from Orange Grove to Portland to the island.
Wow.
I mean, kind of all over the coastal bend. You can pick up at the farm in Callan, but we do deliveries as well. And then we're in a lot of the restaurants too.
Man, I like how you guys are real serious with it. You know what I mean? It's like a business for you.
For sure.
And a lot of us, like, we start a business and then we stop. You know what I mean? But y'all, so you've been doing it since 2020? So that's 4 years. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I like that you're into like restaurants and stuff like that. So you mentioned starting a garden at home after being laid off during the pandemic. Can you share more about the initial experience? I guess you kind of did already, right? So y'all would plant in the yard, and then eventually y'all got into vertical growing, and then like indoor growing, right? And y'all use solar power.
We do
Yeah,
now.
we do now.
Yeah, it's something that we added in the last year.
So how come you guys decided to take that route? instead of
Just trying to make it as sustainable as possible. That way it's not impacted by the grid. And another fact is that we actually had the power go out one time. They were working on one of the power lines next to our house, so they had to turn the power off, and I think the power was out for like 3 or 4 hours, and it killed all the greens that was growing inside. So
It was on a Wednesday, I remember, because we had to leave to go to the market. So all we did, I think it wasn't too hot that day, but it was definitely too hot and humid for the greens. We left the door open to the grow room, is what we call it. But I mean, we weren't able to run fans or lights or anything. It just wiped out everything.
Yeah.
So we were like, what can we do to make sure this never happens again?
yeah, so
It's a
solar
big part of
panels, backup battery. That way we got at least a few hours of window to keep the greens going.
And not only that, the environmental impact is something that we're also really passionate about, and something, like he said, sustainability. There's kind of this thought that growing microgreens is a sustainable practice when it's really not. We do have to buy new fresh soil, constantly, new seeds every time, because these plants obviously never get to the seed stage. So we're having to buy new supplies, having to replant every week. So we kind of look at that and say, okay, well, how can we kind of lessen our environmental impact? We do obviously ask people to recycle their plastic. We do encourage customers, if you're coming to the market, bring your own Tupperware. A glass jar works really well. That way we can just kind of save some of this plastic. They do make compostable containers, but there's no facility to even compost them here. They're not just like backyard compostable. So plastic, unfortunately, is the best route. But again, that's why we went with solar panels. We have people tease and say, oh, you use indoor lights, you use electricity. Well, why don't you use the sun? It's right there outside. But these microgreens won't grow outside, not here in this environment.
Wow.
Some parts of the country where it's cooler and less humid, sure, you
Nice.
can get some growing outside.
so
but
they're more fragile than the actual, because these are smaller versions of
So what
plants,
microgreens
or-
are is, I say they're the baby versions of the plant. So not smaller, not like a baby corn or a baby carrot, but younger.
Okay.
So these are all grown for 10 to 21 days before they're harvested. And they're just younger versions of these full-grown edible plants, flowers, and herbs. And when you harvest them at this stage, they're going to have a lot more concentrated nutrition than the full-grown plant.
Wow, concentrated nutrition. Wow. So is it one of the reasons why y'all decided like a plant-based diet, or because were y'all like, I guess vegan, right? Is that the term? Were y'all that before y'all did this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this was like a plus.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, our diet's changed a lot. So we've been together almost 6 years now. It'll be 6 years next month. And so when we met, I was already vegan. He was transitioning to vegan, but we were still kind of junk food vegans, I would say. We still kind of
Interesting.
ate a lot
Are
of
you-
French fries.
Being
and-
vegan doesn't exactly mean you're healthy.
Oh,
Right.
really?
You
Wow.
can eat almond milk and Oreos all day long and be vegan,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you're eating a healthy diet,
Gotcha. Wow, that's amazing. Oh man, so the main motivation. So what was the main motivation for starting? I know you probably mentioned this, but I forget really fast. Well, I guess you were trying to bring income in, right? Was that the
Right.
main thing? And then was that the main motivation, or?
At least
Part
half
of
of
it,
it.
yeah.
It was, I needed to bring income in, and we also want to do something that helps and promotes our diet. And
and something we're passionate about.
Yes.
There's other ways to make money, and probably quicker and probably with less investment and less overhead. So it definitely wasn't purely about the money. We definitely wanted to do something we were passionate about
Right.
and could dedicate ourselves to and feel good about.
Yeah.
Because there's a million ways out there to make money. But if your heart's not in it, you're not going to stick with it. You're not going to take it seriously.
Interesting.
And I
You
think
don't feel-
that's why we take it so seriously. It's because it is health and plant-based health and nutrition, and
Right.
especially here in Corpus Christi, we know it's something that is, really a need.
Do you advocate for it? Like, and how do you find yourself doing that in the community?
I don't personally advocate.
I don't know if that's the right word, but
no,
like,
I know
you know
what
what
you're
I'm
saying. Yeah, I mean, we're very open about our diet, but we're definitely not the type of vegans that are judgmental about anyone else's diet. people come up to us all the time and say, oh, well, all I eat is, steak and potatoes. Great.
Right.
Throw some radish on your steak. I know personally, I'm also becoming a certified health coach. I'm not here to change anyone's diet. We're not going to change anyone's beliefs.
Yeah.
I say, if you're going to eat meat, support local, support your local farmers and ranchers, go to Borai, get some, because like I said, we're really passionate about the environment, and it's more environmentally friendly to go buy your beef from Turkey Hollow Farm, from Edelin Farms that are within driving distance than it is to use a vegan product that's maybe shipped from, another state.
Wow. Okay, cool. What are some of the health benefits in incorporating microgreens into one's diet?
So a lot of the microgreens are high in antioxidants. Just about all of them are. And even for us vegans, we hear all the time, where do you get your protein? Microgreens. You can actually get your protein from microgreens, tofu, and other stuff. But yeah, we do get a lot of our protein from microgreens, and they're just packed with vitamins. All
Crazy.
As long as you're eating a variety, you're getting a variety of all your micronutrients and vitamins that way.
Nice. And I like how y'all dehydrate, because you don't like to waste stuff, right? That's what y'all were saying.
Right.
That's awesome. And you make them into spices?
Yeah, we have 5 different seasonings that we make with them.
That's cool.
Also using like local ingredients, local sea salt from Salt Masters. I'll use local peppers that we grow, that the other farmers grow, to make our spicy one. Yeah.
And you give some to is it the jalapeno or the salsa people?
Yeah,
Off-brand.
Off-brand salsa uses the dehydrated greens in their green pekin
That's cool.
salsa.
Man, so yeah, that's interesting that you can get protein from the greens. I never would have thought that. I thought it was just like, animals or whatever. That's very interesting. What are some of the most popular microgreens that you grow, and why?
Some of the most popular ones are signature varieties like sunflower and broccoli. Broccoli is high in sulforaphane.
Yeah, so the broccoli microgreens are really high in this chemical called sulforaphane, which we can't really promote necessarily the health benefits of our microgreens, but what we can tell you is, the certain vitamins and minerals that they're high in and what those do. So sulforaphane's a really special one.
Nice.
They've specifically studied that chemical. They've specifically studied it in broccoli microgreens, and sulforaphane is going to help regulate blood glucose levels, improve heart health, and can reduce cancer risk. So now we can't go out here saying our microgreens cure cancer or anything like that, but we can say that it is a really good source of that particular antioxidant.
That's awesome.
Everything. Yeah.
What makes your ranch blend special, and how did you come up with it? Do you also do that?
Yeah, we love that. That's one of my favorite, because we actually make homemade ranch with it. And it's,
so that's how it started, is us making our own ranch. I think I just found a recipe online, but of course it calls for either just the full herb or the dried spices, whatever you have. And I just had this idea one day of, well, what if we just grow those microgreens?
right.
And so, because we already had the garlic chive, which was a favorite at the time, now we replaced that with leeks, which pretty much tastes the same, kind of a garlicky onion taste. And then we started growing the parsley and the dill.
Nice.
And then I'll slap my ranch recipe on the back of it for you too.
I so wanted to try that, and you have it on the back on there. Yeah, I want to try that. That's awesome. So vertical farming and stability. Can you explain what the vertical farming is and how it works at the McNabb Microfarm?
Yeah, so we're using shelves that hold the microgreens, about
Racks
per
shelf,
shelf.
Yeah.
And we have 2 lights per rack, so we're able to grow up to about 100 trays a week.
Wow.
And we're able to supply about 20 restaurants in the local area with it. And like I said, we use solar panels to help with the power consumption, making sure we're not just reliant on the grid the whole time. And we have to keep the microgreens happy. So we have to keep the room at a stable temperature. We have to keep it at a stable humidity, and that way the greens can thrive. And we have to harvest it within a certain window. Otherwise, they start getting bitter once you start growing them for too long.
Wow.
So it's just a constant turnover. So yeah, I mean, we're, like you said, putting up 100 trays a week. I mean, so that's 100 to 250 pounds of these greens, in only 190 square foot space.
Wow, it's amazing. So did you add something to your house? Is it like a room in your house?
So yes, like I said, so originally we had this shed. It was about 12 by 13 shed that the house came with.
Okay.
But we outgrew it in about a year or so. And so last summer we built a new standalone just metal building.
That's awesome. And then you have to insulate it and put it however you make it to where you have, I guess make it for the actual, for your microgreens to grow and flourish,
Where
right?
you can control everything.
Control it, yeah. That's amazing. I guess, how does utilizing vertical farming benefit both the business and the environment?
Less square footage, smaller footprint. Don't have to have a huge field to grow these things.
Uses a lot less water than traditional farming as well. And then with the solar panels, and we're not affecting the grid. And for us personally, it means we can grow in our backyard. We have space. We're very blessed that we have that space where we could throw up another building. But what we may have to do in the future, or what a lot of microgreen farmers do, is they just rent out retail space, or when they're really big, they'll rent out a warehouse. It's not like someone wants to just go start a farm. They have to go find farmland. And that's getting harder and harder to find. But microgreens, just like any indoor vertical farming space, because people also grow, tomatoes, lettuces, things like that you can grow hydroponically. We could just go, rent out a retail space, basically.
Wow.
And with full-grown farming, you're reliant on the pesticides and the fertilizers.
Oh, wow.
Even if you're going organic, it's still using pesticides and fertilizers to help mend the soil. With microgreens, you don't need any of that. So we use coco-coir and perlite, and the microgreens thrive without any help added to it.
And they're not sprayed with anything. They're
so
clean. They're truly clean, truly organic.
So the pesticides would actually affect the growth of the nutrients that go inside the plant?
Right. So pesticides, bad chemicals that are keeping bugs off of it.
Right.
And so we grow indoors. We don't have that
You
problem.
have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I don't want to eat pesticides. I don't know anyone that does. And we also really don't want to affect the local ecosystem. If we, even on our garden, we use things like essential oils and Dawn soap. If we can avoid harming any of these little organisms, we're going to.
Yeah. Have you always been like to where I guess not the sustainability, but like the environmental type of person? Have you always been that way?
Yeah.
That's really
kind of what got me into being vegan in the first place, back when I was like 16. But it's been on and off for sure, but it's definitely something that that's near and dear to my heart. They're
literally having to cut down rainforest to accommodate for cattle.
Right. Yeah. We've been hearing that, it's, as millennials, that's what we've heard our whole life, is, save the rainforest, save the whales, this, that, and the other. And you just get to a point where you're just kind of still really mindful of it. We live in Corpus Christi, we live on the bay, and we pay attention to what's going there. And, there's pollutants in the area, and, that kind of affects all of us too. So,
yeah. And then they were talking about the water plant just recently and all that stuff going on. So there's something there. What challenges did you face when implementing these sustainable practices, and how do you overcome them?
Just trying to figure out how to grow the microgreens in the beginning was a bit of a learning curve. Trying something brand new for the first time. Never tried it before. I didn't have a coach in my ear telling me what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right. We were fortunate to have Chef Natalie from the Ruffian help us out and pre-buy a few of the microgreens before we even knew exactly what we're doing.
She's actually nice. So Chef Natalie, shout out to Chef Natalie Trevino, high school friend of mine, so I've known her for a while. And but actually before we even started this, I reached out to her first and was like, hey, Ryan's thinking about growing microgreens. What do you think? Because we didn't know if there was going to be a market for it.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I'm like, so many people don't even eat vegetables around here. Like,
Yeah,
is this
for
even
sure.
a good idea? And she gave us a resounding yes.
Wow,
Do it.
that's
I will
amazing.
support you. I think it's a great idea. And like Ryan said, she was one of kind of our earlier investors. And
Yeah.
here's some money to try this crop. Here, I want to order this.
That's amazing.
And so she was obviously the Ruffian was the first restaurant we were in.
It just shows how important it is to support local.
Yeah. How does that feel for y'all? Like to have that kind of support?
It's been
And what y'all are
amazing,
doing.
and we love working with other vendors and trying to, mix match products and, whatever benefits us and them, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then all the chefs and restaurants we work with, they're all local owned and operated. And so it really does go back and forth. We're able to say, hey, go eat at these restaurants, go support them.
Yeah.
They're the ones supporting local and using local ingredients.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really been a nice collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
to
something
try to
like
get people
50
out.
restaurants or something like that, right? Or
Not that many yet.
I mean, I can't remember.
It's about
what I saw.
20.
Yeah,
It's
there
about
you go,
20
something like that, but
between
that's
the
still good.
restaurants and the food trucks and
Yeah.
catering, charcuterie, that kind of thing. So no, we're very, very grateful for everyone that's given us a chance and uses our products.
Yeah. So why is it important to support local farmers, especially in today's globalized market?
I mean, there's the big farms that are bringing produce in from either Mexico or from out of state, and the reason that that product's not as good is because they're having to spray chemicals or pump it full of nitrogen to make it last longer, or they have to harvest it early. So you get a unripe tomato and it ripens on the way,
Right.
and
Crazy.
and by the time you get it, it tastes like nothing. It has no flavor. But you get a fresh picked tomato and you eat that.
There's no comparison.
Yeah, there's absolutely no comparison.
Yeah, so for health reasons alone, do you want something that was grown to its full ripeness and has all those nutrients, or do you want something that was artificially ripened?
Ooh, wow.
And then the environmental impacts of having to bring it in from from who knows where. But I think everyone knows how important it is to support local, because you're supporting the local economy, you're supporting a family. It's not a big corporation.
Yeah.
These families rely on people coming out to the markets and ordering their subscriptions, and it's without you guys, without supporters, I mean, we have nothing. There would be no business. So it goes both ways. It's benefiting us. You're supporting these local families and farmers, and you're also getting a better product than you would at the store.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good, I guess, caveat. I don't know what you call it, but that's awesome. Is that why y'all decided to like deliver or have as many options as possible to get it out there?
Yeah, we definitely want to be as accessible as possible. We know it's really hard for people to get enough, vegetables. A lot of people, like he was saying, people tease us about our protein intake, but in America anyways, 99%, over 99% of people get enough protein, but I think it's less than 15% get enough fiber.
Ooh.
A lot of people are fiber deficient. And I think a lot of it is just kind of lack of education around nutrition.
Or taste. Like
And
it-
taste,
yeah.
right. When you're just not used to eating that way, it's hard to make a change. People just didn't grow up eating vegetables, which is why I think the microgreens are a good introduction for those people that are a little squeamish about seeing broccoli on their plate. You can really sneak this into anything.
Yeah, it's like small bite, like it's like a already chopped, not chopped up, but like as if it was chopped up.
Right. There's
instead of
no
getting-
prep to it. But accessibility is really important, which is why I love that Grow Local accepts SNAP EBT. So if anyone didn't know that,
that's cool.
Yeah, you can come out. They'll actually do matching funds. We deliver all over. We did work with the Coastal Bend Food Bank for a while with their diabetes program. And then
Nice.
now we're in a couple school districts. Sinton ISD and London ISD got a grant through the USDA
Cool.
to be able to give the kids
That's
some
amazing.
local produce too.
That's
And
awesome.
they've been loving it from what they've been telling us.
That's cool. So how did y'all get into like the schools? Do you like network or yourself, or somebody told them about y'all, or?
It was through Grow Local. Through every year they do like a little farmers conference, And Miss West, shout out to Silka West, came out. She's the nutritional director in Sinton ISD.
Wow.
She came out to meet the farmers there because they had just gotten this USDA grant, but it requires them to use local produce. Well,
Okay.
microgreens are kind of the only local produce that you can have consistently the whole school year. Stuff
Yeah.
doesn't, I mean, the school year is a pretty good growing season, kind of fall and spring, but the microgreens, you can get out a consistent amount every week. They can say, hey, this is what I want next week. It's a little bit more customizable as far as what they want for their menus. And then she's the one that told the other school districts about it.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. When I saw that, I was like, oh, cool. Like other places are,
Yeah.
especially I guess more consumption of it, like bigger orders of it instead of smaller orders. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And it seems like you guys, are y'all the only ones doing it down here? Or is there other farmers like you guys?
We're the only ones in Corpus. There's been some that kind of came and went, and there's people kind of outside of Corpus, but yeah, we're the only ones inside Corpus doing it. We're definitely the only ones doing it at this scale.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm always afraid, like if I order online, and how do you go about doing that? Like making sure that it's still fresh or whatever before it gets to the person?
Yeah. So we harvest and deliver either on the same day or the next day.
Okay.
So we try and keep it as fresh as possible. And they have a about 10 to 14 day shelf life that we recommend eating by then. I've seen them last even longer than that, depending on which crop you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, nutrients start to drop off after that time period. So we recommend, 10, 14 days, stays fresh. And
Do you refrigerate them or?
Yes.
Okay. So 14 days, you're saying, wash before you use, keep refrigerated. Awesome. That's cool, y'all. Man, this is so awesome. What initiatives or partnerships has the McNabb Microfarm engaged in to promote local agriculture?
Well, we're out at Grow Local Farmers Market every week. I do a little bit more with Grow Local as well. They have their Cook Local camp.
Hold on, real quick. Grow Local? How often is that? What is that?
So-
First time I'm hearing about that.
Yeah, Grow Local is the downtown farmers market.
The one at the art center? Okay.
So that's Grow Local Farmers Market. But Grow Local South Texas is the nonprofit that organizes and runs that.
Okay.
So they do a lot of outreach. They have their summer camps where some kids come out. And so they have a Cook Local camp. So I'll be going out there and
Cool.
doing some cooking demos for the kids.
Nice.
We also have attended a few events at Sinton ISD. They have like a community health fair and they have some other events like that.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off. Grow Local. That's all. So that's what was I saying? To promote the local agriculture. So so Grow Local is one of the ways to get the word out. Is that
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of social media.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you about. Well, you said that his business, but you do most of the social media, or both
Yeah.
of you?
All of
So, yeah.
She does it.
she
Yeah,
does all of it. Yeah.
So Ryan does all the farming and harvesting and delivering and all of that, but I'm the one that does the social media, the website, kind of the more business side of it, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's important, right? And you'll have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So how do you find yourself keeping up with all three of those?
I do the TikTok.
Yeah, he does the TikTok.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's in the grow room more for sure. That is definitely a challenge because like I was telling you, I have my own separate business and career outside of this. When he started the business, I was like, I'm not helping. I was like, I can't do this. I'm too busy. I have my own stuff to worry about. This is going to be all you. But then I was kind of like, well, I'll help you get the Facebook started. And, and shout out to my mom too. She actually set up our website. My mom works on the site as a website designer. So I was like,
Nice.
Mom, I need you to do this. I need you to look into, these payment softwares and everything. So she got all that set up for us.
She saw me trying to make a post on Facebook and was like, give me that.
Yeah, just put the phone away. I was like, no.
Yeah. I'm not that great at it. So, that's one of her strengths. Let her do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And that's why we work so well together is we know each other's strengths and weaknesses and we just, it's either his job or my job to do something. And that's how it gets done.
Yeah, right on. And we were talking on social media on before we were setting this up. I think we were talking about the topic of ADHD or ADD, which me and my wife are kind of on that spectrum. So I find it interesting that you both of y'all own your own business with ADD or whatever. So what's it like running a business with ADD, ADHD?
A lot of notes. We have a lot of notes, a lot of reminders on our phones, constant schedule on our calendar, rewriting it all the time, and just making sure, if one of us drops the ball, someone else, one of us is there to pick it back up.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of communication, constant communication, constantly double checking each other, making sure what I have written down is the same as what he has written down, and kind of. Sometimes you almost, I don't ever want to come off naggy, but it's like, did you write that down though? Like, let me see you write it down.
Oh, yeah.
Let me make sure you wrote it down, and kind of in the middle, be the middle of the night. We're about to go to bed. Babe, did you soak seeds? Did you plant? It's kind of just, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how I keep track of everything. We kind of just have a schedule, and, we have our little habits that we do, and have lots of spreadsheets, and like you said, a lot of notes. So
now we're on our third year of doing this, so we've got a rhythm to it. So it's becoming more natural.
And it's easier now to kind of spot those gaps, because at first, when you're just starting a business, you kind of are in every direction. You kind of don't know what to focus on. You don't know where the mistakes are going to happen. But now that we've been doing it for so long, now we know, okay, this is a weak point. We really need to focus on this, or this mistake has happened in the past. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Wow. So now, like, the ship's a lot tighter now.
Yeah, and figuring out where we need to be putting our energy into.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a real big one. At the end of the day, all the energy's already spent, and you still got more stuff to do. I just crash out.
Yeah.
Start in the morning fresh. You know what I mean? Does that happen to y'all?
When we can. Yeah. Sometimes it can't wait. So these microgreens do require a lot of attention. So I'm there in the grow room at least, even if I have nothing to do in the grow room, it's at the very least go in there every morning and water, and check them at night to make sure they have enough hydration. It hasn't gotten too hot or anything in there. Humidity's good.
Nothing's fallen.
Yeah. Yeah, because the way that you grow, you actually stack them up on top of each other.
The trays. Once there's seeds in trays, they get stacked.
Yeah, and then we put weights on top of that, and they grow under weights for 4 days, and they literally push the trays above them up. Cool. And very few times we've seen them where they've actually shoved the trays, the weighted trays on top, completely off.
Wow, it's amazing. So, where you get your seeds, is that a secret, or
No, not really.
No, True Leaf is a big microgreen supplier.
True Leaf Market.
Yeah, True Leaf Market for the seeds.
Or Johnny's.
And I like Johnny's seeds because the way they run their business, and they.
No, that actually is a really good question, because we're in, a few of the microgreens forums on Facebook and stuff. And there's people starting out saying, oh, I'm really excited. I want to start a business. I got this 50-pound bag of bird seed.
Oh.
It's sunflower. Will this do?
Oh,
so never be afraid to ask a farmer. I mean, especially a microgreens farmer, where do they get their seeds? What kind of soil do they grow in? I mean, anything like that. I mean, this is stuff you're putting in your body. And some people seem to not do their research, not care. So the people that do care are never going to be offended by those questions.
Right on. And how has that been for y'all, as far as learning from other people? Like, has there ever been a time where somebody hasn't want to help you with that? Or has it just mostly been helpful? You know what I'm saying?
With the forums that we find on Facebook, most of those people are pretty helpful, and most of those questions have already been asked. So you just kind of search through the forum and figure out. Like, anytime I'm growing a new crop that I've never grown before, I want to research it and see what specific parameters I need to take to make this grow, because not all of them grow the same.
Interesting. Do you grow them in batches? Like, I'm gonna do all the broccoli this time, and then or all the peas this time or whatever it is this time?
We grow them in weekly batches. So like, we have a 10 by 20 tray that we plant in, and so we grow to order.
Okay. Yeah,
So
right on. As
that way-
the order comes in, you prepare for that order.
Right. That way we're not growing more than we need.
No.
And I like to grow just a little bit more than I need, but not like a crazy amount, just so I know, like, I'm never going to have to tell someone, hey, I couldn't get your microgreens. I want to be able to say, hey, I had plenty, here you go. And we'll figure out what to do with the rest.
Yeah.
And that's where we go to dehydrate and pickle microgreens.
Oh yeah, what's the deal with that? I heard about
They're
that.
so good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, Romaine with Spice Collection, she's another vendor at Grow Local, just came up to us one day and was like, hey, give me some of your microgreens. I want to try to pickle them
Oh,
because she
wow.
makes pickles. And we were like, okay. And so she took some of the speckled pea home that night. And then the next week she said, here, try them. And they were delicious.
Nice.
Like we were mind blown. They still stayed really crunchy. And so she shared her recipe with me and kind of gave me some tips.
That's
and we started pickling. So yeah, I never would have thought that's something we would have done. No one
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
that.
Nuh-uh.
Because I looked on Instagram and I kind of looked through all the forums and
I found like one other farm
Yeah, I
that
saw-
does it.
yeah, maybe one other person does it and it's been a big hit. People
I
really
was gonna
like
ask,
that.
yeah,
People
they
I
said-
mean, people love pickles. Who
That's
doesn't?
cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we mainly pickle the sunflower and the speckled peas. The speckled peas are nice and relish.
Like a sweet relish.
Yeah, like
kind
a
of
sweet
flavor.
relish. And then
Wow.
the sunflower we do in a dill brine. And it tastes just like a dill pickle with like a little sunflower seed flavor to
Did
it.
it maintain the nutrients still, or
It's going to break down some of
Some
them
of
for
them, like
sure
this,
because of the vinegar.
vinegar?
But at least you're really still getting the fiber.
Oh yeah.
And keeping it shelf stable, since they only have a 14-day shelf life. You pickle them, they have a much longer shelf life.
So
to
can
it.
you? So can I do it? Like if I take these, can I pickle some of them, or is that a difficult process?
No, pickling's pretty easy,
Mm.
especially if it's just for home consumption. You don't exactly have to worry about stuff sealing and things like that. You could just look up recipes.
Oh, that's
Yeah, just Google a recipe and
It's
definitely.
amazing how stuff is at the internet. You could just look it up
Isn't it great?
and find it there. That's awesome. Yeah, so delivery market presence. That's awesome. How is participating in the local farmers market and the Corpus Christi market helped your business grow?
That's where we started. Aside from Chef Natalie helping us out, that was our first market at the Art Center at Grow Local, and that's actually where we've met a couple of chefs. Where they come by and they try out our greens and they get excited over it. So we're really happy to be able to work with chefs. That's where most of our income comes from, is working with these restaurants.
Wow.
And that's where we met Nate too with Borai. He came out before before the store had even opened.
Yeah.
Or had just opened. And he said, I want to start carrying vegetables. I want you guys to be the first ones.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
just right off the bat, yeah,
That's-
gave us
yeah.
that chance.
I guess like the good chefs, they go to local markets instead of buying.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of, getting the Cisco special.
Yeah, no kidding, bro. Wow, that's amazing. So what were you doing trying to sell it before you got to the market? How were you going about selling your greens? Or
Online, mostly. Online through our website. Just trying to kind of promote on Facebook and Marketplace and word of mouth.
But we knew we had to get out there, so going to a market is a great way to meet a lot of people,
Yeah.
meet other like the chefs and other people that just want to figure out what microgreens are. Or
Yeah.
so many people have never heard of it. Our first year was mostly just educating people what microgreens are.
that's for sure, man. And did we talk about what you were doing before this on air?
No,
Do you want to talk about the how is what you were doing before? How does it relate to what you're doing now?
I've had my fair share of blue collar work, being a mechanic, and I used to install locks. So I was traveling a lot. That's when the pandemic hit, and so I didn't want to be. We just got a house together. Didn't want to be traveling all the time, and it's been a really nice change to be able to work inside my greens stay inside, I get to stay inside. So it's been a really nice journey to be able to, and a very stark difference between the work I used to do and the work I do now.
Yeah.
But it's still very much working with your hands. It's still very much a system. He has this system dialed in, man.
Yeah.
Like if he ever gets sick, there's no greens that week. I'm not gonna be able to go in there and he's very good about writing everything down. It's still very scientific. It's keeping track of how much he planted and then like kind of what we harvested. So even from the beginning, he's been tracking literally every tray that he's grown and really has it like dialed down to a science. Which I think, and we've had other customers say this too, that's really the difference between our microgreens and maybe something you get somewhere else or get at the store is and the difference in quality. Okay. Is because he's a perfectionist.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And just really has everything dialed in to where they're just perfect consistently.
Somebody was saying, do you spray peroxide before you lay down the dirt or something like that?
Yeah, it's 12% peroxide. It helps just kill any bacteria that might be on the tray. So we wash the trays, get them nice and clean as best we can. Just basic soap and water. And then after they dry and right before I plant, I'll spray them down with peroxide. Make sure there's no plant pathogens that can be sitting on there and can be contaminating our crops.
Right on.
Because that's the thing is when you're only growing for a week, so people think, oh, that's easy, you only have to keep them alive for a week. But at the same time, that's a very short window where a lot can go wrong.
Wow.
It's not like growing plants outside where you can just plant way more extra seeds and then most of them are going to make it. Like it's there could be mold, pests, things like that. A lot can go wrong in a short amount of time.
So you have to micromanage the micro
farm.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Have y'all met up with the mushroom guy, Mark?
Marky,
Marky,
yeah.
Marky, there you go.
He's out of Callan too, so yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, he's got his own farm too. And I thought when I first talked to him, and shout out Mark, I made him some stickers. But I thought most of his stuff was like psychedelic stuff, but some of it is like
it's medicinal.
Yes, exactly.
I get tinctures from him.
Really? Wow. Which one is it?
I use the turkey tail every morning in my tea, and then the reishi before bed to help me sleep.
No way! That's so crazy.
And I use the lion's mane in my coffee. Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah, focus. It's amazing. Have you? Speaking of ADHD, have y'all ever used like medicine, or do you use? I don't. I remember I was on Ritalin when I was like in middle school or high school, but I've never taken it since then.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to. You know what I mean?
I've taken like supplements that had caffeine in them and kind of helped with focus, but even that I really got away from because I don't like to be like dependent on stuff. I want to just kind of
I got you. No. I'm the same way, and the nutrients are really good for the brain too, like for ADHD and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I never liked the way some of those medicines made me feel, so I was really adverse to not really wanting to take those medicines and kind of be zombified throughout the day. I still want to have my personality.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like we weren't considering, but I was like, do I want to put my kids on that stuff? Not really. Show them ways, show them how to live, give them tools.
Right.
Exactly.
If it's necessary, pharmaceuticals can be useful, but I like to figure out a better path before you have to resort to that.
Awesome. So how has the family dynamic and vegan lifestyle influenced the way you run the McNabb Microfarm?
Just working with all the other businesses like Marky. I mean, we use his mushrooms. We'll make some nice oyster mushrooms or a lion's mane steak, and it's adding our microgreens on top of it. Just one makes the dish look so pretty, and on top of that, you're getting all those nutrients in it, and you're getting amazing flavor out of them too. So like whenever you try these microgreens, you'll have to tell us how you like them. And like cilantro, I don't like cilantro.
Like full grown cilantro
Because it has that soapy taste. I have that gene where it tastes soapy to me. but not microgreens, not the micro cilantro.
What's the best way to eat these? Do you just eat them whole like that, or do you mix them with anything?
Yeah, we garnish it on whatever we're eating. So whatever meal we're picking up or making at home, we just kind of garnish it on top. And you can cook them and saute them a little bit or steam them a little bit if you want. I just prefer just throwing them right on top of our food.
Yeah. Breakfast tacos, pizza, whatever,
Yeah.
It's good fiber, like you were saying. We're not getting a lot of fiber, but enough protein.
Yeah.
Myself, especially, like I love tacos. I eat tacos, and like I'm thinking throughout the day, I'm like, damn, I hate them tacos. So I'll get like an apple or something, whatever, some kind of fiber, you know.
Something. And then as far as working together as a family, it's it's been really nice. We're able to kind of separate business talk from personal talk. We might have a tough day at the office, but then it doesn't carry into all night or anything. I think we're both the same kind of personality where we take our jobs really seriously and we're really professional. And so we know that if tensions ever get high, mistakes are made, whatever, running late, etc., like we know it's just because we're taking our business so seriously, and it's never like a personal attack.
Oh, nice.
And our son works with us too.
I was gonna ask, well, how did he come?
He wanted to come. He's like, "Am I going to be on the podcast
man. For real. If that would have been cool, I would have brought my daughter. Hi, Francesca. She's on the chat. And Barbara S. Sunflower microgreens are my favorite.
That's probably my mom.
Nice.
Hi, mom.
Hi, mom.
But our son Will, he's 7. He'll be 8 in a couple months. He's always been a big part of our business. Through my massage business, he always did vendor shows with me from the time he was a baby. So he loves going to these vendor shows and these markets and meeting other people. Yeah. And you'll see him at Grow Local on his scooter talking to all the other vendors. And
that's so cool.
So he really loves being involved as far as that, and being on the social media. And he has his own part of the business now. So we started this earlier this year, Sweet Williams Flower Farm.
Oh, edible flowers, right?
Yes, he grows edible flowers. Yeah.
What's the business called, sir?
Sweet Williams Flower Farm.
Okay.
So his name's Will.
Yeah.
But Sweet Williams are also another name for dianthus flowers. And so a little play on words there.
Nice.
But yeah, that's he got to start his own little company, which has been nice because it gives him something to do, of course, and some responsibility, but it's also teaching him how to run a business and everything that goes into it.
Yeah, definitely something that I think we should all learn as kids, or just at a young age, because you'll run into a lot of stuff that you didn't expect, and you learn it at an older age. You know what I mean? Finances, like that's one big thing, budgeting and stuff like that. I was never really taught. I didn't find out till later. Are you guys originally from the Cal Island area?
Yep.
Yeah, Cal Island Wildcats, right?
I graduated Cal Island. I don't know what that face is. He graduated from TM.
Yeah.
Oh, Tolosa Midway?
Yeah,
bro. My cousins went out there a while back. That's cool, man. They were from the Clarkwood area though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Shout out Clarkwood and TM and the Wildcats. That's awesome. So, what are the future aspirations for the McNabb Microfarm?
I think right now our focus is expanding the flower farm. It's going really well as far as people being excited about it, chefs wanting the flowers. Cool. I mean, there's so much opportunity there to do more. We've been giving flowers to Olive Blue Charcuterie. Shout out to her. Bakers, there's just a lot that you can do with that. And so I think that'll kind of be our next step is, because right now he's just running off of one rack, but we would really like to build out his own space to explain the flower farm. And then after that,
it's been a big hit. We've already got an established connection with chefs, so it's been pretty easy to just be like, hey, chef, we got edible flowers now, and they're like, yes, bring that.
How did you come up on that idea? Through the chefs, or?
Yeah, we have a few restaurants that have been kind of asking us for a couple years.
Amazing.
Because it's one of those things that if you can't get it local, you have to order it like from California. And then maybe by the time it gets here, maybe half those flowers are still good. So, a lot of microgreen farmers do make that transition as far as just expanding their offerings. Edible flowers is kind of just the next logical step. But the flowers we actually grow completely hydroponically. Ryan and Will built the whole like automatic hydroponic system.
Hydroponic. What is that? I'm sorry.
So it's grown
Hydroponic.
completely in water. So
Oh.
instead of like the microgreens, we grow them in a soil type medium. The flowers are just in little cups that get soaked with water.
Wow, that's so crazy. No soil at all.
Right.
None at all,
Completely
yeah.
soilless.
Wow.
You just add that kind of the organic food grade fertilizers to it.
Is that affecting y'all's water bill?
Not too
Or
bad.
is that
No, we
no?
actually, you just have to fill up a big 27-gallon tank every couple weeks.
Yeah,
so.
it's about 15 gallons we
too
put in,
bad.
so it's
Yeah.
it's not too
I
bad.
think all
And
our water bills are fixing to go up.
No,
so.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hey.
But again,
Yeah.
we always try and reuse what we can. So like
Oh, yeah.
for that water, it's still full of those extra nutrients for the flowers. So
Mm-hmm.
we take that water and we'll put it in the garden.
Give it to the
And-
banana tree
yeah.
and
And same with our soil from the microgreens.
Mm-hmm.
We compost it and then we reuse that compost into our garden. So again, we try to have nothing go to waste as best we can.
No. It's amazing, man. You guys are amazing. We're at 50 minutes. Thanks for coming onto the show, you guys.
yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. How do we find you guys online?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, McNabb Microfarm. You can also go to our website, McNabbMicrofarm.com. There's where you can learn more about us, order your greens. Like I said, we're also out at Grow Local Farmers Market every Wednesday night. Come check us out there. And yeah.
Is there any advice that you would share with someone, or is there anything y'all want to share? Sorry, I forgot to ask you guys that.
Support local.
Yeah.
Support local as much and as often as you can. Your neighbors are depending on you. You know, you're helping the environment. You're doing something good for yourself, and it goes beyond food. And it goes beyond restaurants. I mean, go out to these vendor shows, go out to these markets, see what's there. You'd be surprised at what you find. I mean,
Yeah.
we use local cleaning products and soaps and shampoos and stuff for our dogs. You know, some stuff you can't get locally, but anything you can, you should.
And when you support local, you're supporting someone that cares about what they're doing. You know, they care about the product they're putting out. It's reflective on their name. So it's just important to support them, and you know you're going to get a better product out of it.
And these local businesses are going to be the ones that support you and your family too. You know, we always try to buy ad space and do sponsorships for, local sports and different organizations and stuff. And, big box stores aren't going to do that. These are your neighbors. I honestly think small business is the best part about Corpus Christi. Honestly, it's not just the small businesses that are there, which is great, but it's the community of everyone. So many people you've had on this show are friends of ours that, we've worked with and we support and shout out. And I think that's the best part of being a small business owner. It's all the other friends we've made with other small business owners and the community that we've built.
Keep the money local too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's amazing. I really like that last point right there. Support local. I try to. But support local, you guys. Appreciate y'all. If nothing else, we'll say goodbye. You guys good?
Yeah, appreciate bringing us on.
Yeah, you're welcome. You guys, McNabb Microfarm, check them out at the local farmers market. What was it called? Grow Local. But yeah, stay tuned for the next couple of podcasts. I'm trying to wind it down, trying to figure out what I'm doing here. But you guys, stay tuned for the next one. We got one last comment. Tabitha Trim, such a great podcast today. Thank you so much for watching. You guys know her?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if nothing else, thanks a lot, you guys, for coming on to the show. Stay tuned for the next couple shows, guys. Vago Burger and Barbecue. Check them out. They're the sponsor of this show. 4701 Barrera Drive in Molina, 78416. Thanks a lot, you guys.